So I want to dive into AI reading chest x-rays.
Mm.
This paper, wow, it really gets into it. Using AI to analyze these x-rays, you know, and they used, get this, over 2 million chest x-rays just to train the AI.
Yeah.
Then tested it on like two more groups, one with 2,000 x-rays and another, hold on, with 100,000.
Ah.
We're going to unpack all this, see if AI can really, do a radiologist do, finding all those abnormalities in our lungs.
It's a huge field, especially, how often we use chest x-rays.
Oh, for sure.
But reading them, that's the tricky part.
Right, totally. Even the study mentions, like, radiologists don't always agree, right?
Yeah.
Depending on what they're looking at. They only agree, like, 20 to 77% of the time. Wild, huh?
It is. It really shows, how AI could make things, more consistent.
Yeah.
This study, they were training AI to spot all sorts of things, like an enlarged heart, fluid buildup, even, infections like tuberculosis. And each one, the AI have to pick up on these very specific visual clues.
It's like a whole team of specialists all in one program, right? So how did it do? Like, could it keep up with the humans?
Pretty impressive, actually. It was really good at just telling, like, is this x-ray normal or is it abnormal? They used this AUC score to measure how accurate it was.
Okay.
And it got a 0.92 on that smaller group of x-rays and a 0.86 on the bigger one.
Okay.
An AUC of 1 is, like, perfect,
Gotcha.
So those numbers, they show it's really good at that first step, at least.
Okay, so it can tell something's wrong. But, like, what about the specific problems? Like, was it as good at spotting a tiny, I don't know, nodule as it was at finding fluid around the lungs?
Well, that's where things get interesting. The AI, its performance, it kind of varied depending on what the problem was. The AUC scores, they went from like 0.89 to 0.98, meaning some things were easier for it to spot than others.
So it has its strengths and weaknesses, kind of like us, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Were there any areas where it really, like, shined?
Yeah.
Maybe even did better than the radiologist?
Actually, yeah, there was. When it came to pleural effusion, fluid around the lungs,
Right.
the AI, it was super accurate. Like, it was as good as, sometimes even better than the radiologists in the study.
Wow, no kidding. That's not just like a small thing, right?
No.
Pleural effusion, that can be a sign of some serious stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like heart failure. Imagine if AI could help doctors diagnose that, like, way faster.
Yeah.
It could be huge, right? Like quicker treatment, maybe even save lives.
Definitely. But we got to remember, even though it's, impressive, the AI is not perfect. The study, it pointed out some limitations, especially
Right.
with those rarer conditions where it didn't have as much data to, learn from.
Right, so it needs more practice, more data to, like, really refine its skills, especially with the less common stuff. What are the implications of it not doing as well on those rarer conditions? What does that tell us about the challenges of developing this medical AI?
Yeah. Well, it shows, how important it is to have really good data, lots of it, and all different kinds. If the AI only sees, a few examples, it's going to struggle when it sees something new, something it's never seen before. Kind of like a medical student, right? They've only read the textbooks. And then suddenly they get a patient with these really weird symptoms,
Yeah, I see what you mean.
They might be totally lost.
So it needs a well-rounded education, just like a human doctor.
Yeah.
So if the AI is not quite ready to, like, replace radiologists, how do the researchers see it being used in healthcare?
They see it as a tool, to help radiologists, not to replace them.
Okay.
Like, it could be used to sort through x-rays really fast,
Yeah.
find the ones that, look abnormal and flag them for a human to check out first.
So instead of, like, taking jobs, it's more about making things more efficient.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I could see that being really helpful in places where, they don't have enough radiologists.
Right.
Think about, like, rural areas or developing countries where there aren't a lot of specialists.
Yeah.
AI could, like, fill in those gaps, make sure that even if there's no radiologist right there, someone's still checking those x-rays for anything urgent.
That makes sense.
And it's not just about speed either. AI could also, help reduce mistakes, like we were saying before. Even really experienced radiologists, they don't always agree on what they see.
Right.
But an AI system, if it's trained right, it could give you a more, consistent interpretation, one that's based on data.
It's like having a built-in second opinion.
Yeah.
That can be really reassuring for both doctors and patients.
So definitely.
It also makes me think about, like, how this could affect patient care overall, faster diagnoses, intervening earlier.
Absolutely. Like that pleural effusion example where the
Mm.
AI was so accurate,
Right.
catching that early is super important.
Yeah.
If the AI can flag those cases right away, it could mean, patients get treated sooner and have better outcomes.
It really feels like we're on the edge of something big in healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
It's exciting to think about the possibilities, but I also wonder, like, where do we go from here? What are the next steps to, actually getting this technology into hospitals and clinics?
Well, there's definitely more work to do. We need to make the AI better at spotting those rarer conditions,
Yeah.
and we got to make sure it's trained on diverse data so it's not biased.
Right.
But most importantly, we got to figure out how to like seamlessly integrate it into the way healthcare already works.
It's not just about like building the tech. It's about making sure it's used responsibly, right?
Exactly.
In this complex world of healthcare. I imagine that's got its own set of challenges.
Oh, for sure. But the potential benefits are so big. It's a challenge worth taking on. And this is just the start, really. We've been talking about chest x-rays, but think about all the other types of medical imaging out there.
Right.
CT scans, MRIs, ultrasounds.
It's mind-blowing when you think about how AI could change like the whole field of medical imaging.
Yeah.
But for now, let's stick with chest x-rays. Before we wrap up this deep dive, I'm curious what you think all this means for the average person. Like, what should our listeners be thinking about as they, consider this technology and how it might affect their own healthcare?
I think the big thing is, AI in healthcare, it's not something to be scared of. It's more about, understanding it and being open to it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it could really make healthcare better for everyone, make it
Yeah.
easier to get, more accurate, more efficient.
It's about like helping patients and doctors,
Yeah,
not replacing them, right?
exactly.
That's a good way to put it.
Mm.
But like with any new tech, there are always those, questions and concerns. What would you say to our listeners who are, maybe a little hesitant about AI being involved in their healthcare?
I'd say just stay informed
Mhm.
and stay curious. Don't be afraid to ask your doctor, how's AI being used in their practice? And if you want to learn more, there's tons of info out there online in your community.
Yeah.
The more we know about this stuff, the better we can, advocate for ourselves, make sure it's being used the right way, ethically, I mean.
It's true. Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to our health.
Yeah.
And remember, this research, it's really just the beginning. We've been talking about chest x-rays, but AI is already being used in other areas of healthcare.
Like where?
Like diagnosing skin cancer, analyzing heart rhythms.
Oh yeah, it's a really fast-moving field, and it's only getting faster. I think it's safe to say AI is going to be a big part of healthcare in the future.
Definitely an exciting time to be, following all this. And who knows, maybe one day AI will be able to help us not just diagnose diseases, but prevent them altogether.
That's a future I'd love to see.
Well, on that hopeful note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive. We've covered a lot today, from the technical stuff about how AI actually reads these chest X-rays to the bigger picture of what it means for the future of healthcare.
It's been a great conversation. I always enjoyed, digging into these complex topics with you.
Me too. And a huge thank you to you, our listener, for joining us on this journey of discovery. We hope you learned something new today. Maybe even had a few aha moments along the way.
And if this deep dive has, made you curious, keep exploring. Read more about AI and healthcare. Talk to your doctor and stay part of the conversation because, the future of healthcare, we're all creating it together.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
And until next time, keep those brains buzzing.